Today, we're talking breakfast. I'm going to show you how to make a delicious, healthy, chocolate protein banana pancake. Now, personally, I love a good pancake. The traditional one with all that fat and sugar and flour and everything, it's delicious. But the challenge I have is that after eating it, I need a bed nearby because I am going right to sleep. So I wanted something that was a healthier version. And my cousin gave me a recipe for one that is both good and satisfies that need for something bready, but at the same time doesn't actually involve bread and gives me energy. That's the recipe I'm going to share with you today. Let's start with what you'll need on hand in order to make these pancakes. As the name implies, you need banana. Figure about 1 banana for every person, and that usually gets me about 3 to 4 normal sized pancakes. If you're going to do little silver dollars, obviously you're going to get a lot more pancakes out of it. You're also going to want protein powder, 3 either egg whites or eggs, cinnamon, and vanilla extract. In this case, I'm doing 3 egg whites and 1 yolk. Break up the banana and put it in.
Add protein powder.
I've used chocolate protein powder. I make these pancakes at least once a week. So I have used all chocolate. I've done half chocolate, half vanilla. I'm actually going to be getting in salted caramel soon, so I'm dying to try that. If you're looking to use the exact one I use, just to sort of go with the same amount of sweetness and protein and such, I get a protein from something called the Max Challenge out of Madison, New Jersey. But if you already have protein, feel free. This one that I use is whey-based, but there's vegan versions. So if you have protein in your home, figure about half a cup is right, or whatever they tell you is a serving. So now that we've got protein powder, eggs, and banana already in there, we're going to add vanilla. I love vanilla, so I tend to put in more even than a recipe will call. Usually I put in a little more than a capful, so we'll put in our little capful, a little more for good measure. For those who need something a little more specific than a capful or a little more, figure about a teaspoon of vanilla. If you want, you can put in, a teaspoon and a quarter. It'll just give you a little bit more of a vanilla flavoring. Lastly, we're going to use our cinnamon. And cinnamon, it's really to taste. Personally, I love cinnamon. It's actually great because it sort of makes you feel like you're having some sugar even when you're not. So just pour in some cinnamon, and then we're going to mix it up. And I typically stir this by hand. I just kind of keep mashing it until it comes out to be not totally smooth, a little chunky, but overall, a cohesive batter. I will tell you that on days where I'm feeling a little lazy or I want something to be exact, I've popped it in the blender just a couple of seconds. It actually works very well. Put it on something low because you don't want to end up with sort of whipped everything, but it actually will mash it up nicely and give you a really even consistency. Just be aware that it's going to make the batter a little bit thinner, so you're usually going to end up with these sort of wider, even flatter pancakes. Now I'm heating up the pan. It's up to you if you want to use something in the pan. Personally, I'm using nonstick cookware, and I find I actually don't need to put anything in, but if you prefer some sort of nonstick spray or butter or oil, this is when you can oil up your pan. The batter at this point, you can see, is pretty well mixed. It's still got sort of some banana chunks in it, which is how I typically do it. As I mentioned, if you want something really smooth, it's probably going to be easier to pop it in the blender a couple of seconds, and then it'll make it perfectly smooth and even. So now we've got our mixture, and we're just going to pour into our pan, just like you would any other pancake. You're going to notice it may be a little bit less even. You can probably see it's a little bit chunkier, but still it's going to come out great. And this is your pancake, so it's up to you. Oftentimes I will leave it plain, but if you want to put something else into it, like blueberries, it's your pancake. Go for it. There's obviously a lot of things, just like you would with any other pancake, you can put in. You want to put in other fruit, raisins, chocolate chips. This is your breakfast, so whatever suits you health-wise, taste-wise, put it in. But what's great is that you're starting with a really healthy base.
Other foods you can try adding to the batter are sliced strawberries, chopped apples or nuts, rolled oats or granola, or a type of nut butter or sunflower butter.
The pancake actually doesn't need to cook all that long. What you're looking for is to see, are there some bubbles coming up in the pancake? Now, I feel like where you always see a lot of comedy is people who just don't test it. They just shove something underneath it and try to flip it, and then you end up with sort of goo everywhere. So what you want to do is to take your spatula and just start to put it underneath and see. All right, stuff's coming out of the spatula, too early. So now we sit and we wait. Now another minute or so has gone by, our spatula is clean, and we're going to test it again. So just start to put under and see. Is it coming up clean? If you can get it under, that's usually the clue that it's time to give it a flip. And keep in mind, these are going to look a little bit darker than other pancakes. I think that really has to do with the chocolate coating in there. I find a lot of times one comes up sort of brown and one side comes up a little bit more white, no matter how long I cook it. So don't panic if that's what it is. Just like with any other pancake, depending on how crispy you like it, you may decide to cook it a little longer or a little shorter. So experiment with them. One pancake under our belt, we're going to put in another one. Same thing, and now we just wait for our pancake. So let's just test if our pancake's done. Remember, we're going to slowly put the spatula under, and we see it all coming up, and flip. Now our third and final pancake is done cooking, so we're going to turn off the stove, very important. And then we are going to add it to our plate. So you can see here we have 3 beautiful chocolate protein banana pancakes, one of which we put some blueberries into, but all of which are going to be fabulous. Once your pancakes are done, you can add traditional butter and maple syrup or just a little fruit like I usually do. However you choose to top your pancakes, I hope you enjoy them in good health.